Welcome back. All right, so the longest review so far this season, 12 games to review. I've got a 5-game board here, 4 game boards behind it. It was easier for the way I was keeping track of things to do it this way. So we'll go ahead and start it off with the Florida Panthers in Buffalo against the Sabres. The Sabres committed tonight winless, but no Barkov and no Tkachuk. It definitely makes a big difference to Florida. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't. I'm not trying to minimize what Buffalo did here, but Florida was definitely undermanned. Put it that way. So it's Knight versus Levi. The early jumps for Florida. Panthers press at a minute and a half. Buffalo got pinned down for a while. Kind of surprised to see the shots were only 2-0 for Florida 4 minutes in. Levi was pretty sharp when called upon. The Sabres press at 8 minutes. And then Schmidt buries one from the slot on a rush. It is Greer and Jesper Boquist with the assists at 9:01. It's 1-0 for Florida. Greenway and Greer get tangled up a little bit, so we have a 4-on-4 come out of that. Ekblad's denied. The Sabres rush. The Sabres press. They're kept to the outside. We get a power play for Buffalo. That's killed off, but they would get on the board. Greenway backhands in a loose puck. Krebs with the assist at 16:46. And then as they're announcing this, Thompson gets a rush chance, and he just puts it through Spencer Knight at 17:25. It is 2-1 in favor of Buffalo. Panthers look to respond. Sabres press in the final minute. It's 2-1 Buffalo after 1. Second period, the teams exchange rushes. Knight coughs up the puck. I still don't know how that puck didn't go in the net. He does recover, but then at 1:34, Jokiharju has a point shot that goes past a screen, makes it 3-1. Dahlin and Quinn with the assists. We then get a power play for Florida. That's killed off. The Sabres go to the power play. That's killed off as well. The shots are 7-5 for Florida at 9 minutes. The Panthers press with 5.5 minutes left, but Buffalo would add another at 16:22. It's Samuelson. It was a nice cycle by Buffalo to set this up. Zucker and McLeod with the assists. I believe that's McLeod's first point as a member of the Sabres. 1:45 left, though. The Panthers get a power play, and they score on it. They're still good on the power play, even without their big guns. Bennett scores from Reinhart and Rodriguez at 18:42. It's weird you have a 57 goal scorer still in the lineup, and I'm like, but their two best forwards were out. So after 2 periods of play, it's 4-2 in favor of Florida. Third period, early press by the Sabres. Rodriguez fires one high on a rush. Shots are 3-2 for Buffalo at 4 minutes. Sabres press at 5.5 minutes. We go over 7 minutes between shots for the Florida Panthers in that third period. Delay game call gives the Sabres a power play. That's killed off, but that takes 2 minutes off the clock. 1:52 left. The goalie pull happens, and at 18:48, Tuck hits the empty net to make the score 5-2. With the win, Buffalo goes to 1-3 on the season. Florida drops to 1-2 on the season after losing in Ottawa as well. Florida outshoots Buffalo 10-6, and then Buffalo takes over. They outshoot Florida 13-11 in the second, 8-4 in the third. Final shots 27-25 Buffalo. Power plays Florida 1 for 2, Buffalo 0 for 3. The hits, both teams had 24. Spencer Knight 22 saves on 26 shots. Levi looked pretty darn good. He saves 23 out of 25. So Buffalo gets the win. We'll see if they can build on it. All right. Next up, Toronto at home against Pittsburgh. I told you this was going to be a fun game. Bloomquist versus Stolars. The Penguins press at 2.5 minutes. In fact, the shots are 4-0 Pittsburgh 3 minutes into this game. The Leafs press at 5.5 minutes. We then get a power play for the Penguins, and they score on it. Letang wires one glove side. Crosby and Malkin with the assists at 10:58. Penguins press with 5 minutes left. Good forechecking by the Penguins. McMahon has a buzzer beater that's held. It's 1-0 Pittsburgh after 1. Second period, that lead does not last for long. 50 seconds in, Nylander scores from Domi on a 2-on-0 from in close. He just buries it. The Penguins press to respond, but Toronto would get the lead. Nye scores from Riley and Marner at 2:53. Penguins again press trying to respond to that one. We get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. Shots are 7-4 for Pittsburgh at 6.5 minutes. A net feed to Achari is blocked. The Leafs press with 6 minutes left. We get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. The Leafs rush. They press afterwards. And then 2:37 left. The Leafs get a power play. That's killed off. Bloomquist playing pretty well tonight for the Penguins. 2.1 seconds left. Toronto gets a power play. So obviously that rolls over to the next period. Although Matthews almost got a goal on that faceoff with 2.1 seconds left. The Penguins do finish the kill in the third period, but on a rush chance, Marner makes no mistake. He scores at 2 minutes and 12 seconds, makes it 3-1 for Toronto. Penguins press at 4.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. The Leafs then press at 9 minutes, but Pittsburgh gets within a goal. Raquel scores from Malkin at 12:29. I believe that's 1,300 points in the career of Malkin. There will be a milestone video on Malkin. He's got to get the goal milestone first, though, before I'm going to do the video. I don't want to do the video now and then have to do another video for goals. It seems silly. 5:34 left. The Leafs get a power play. That's killed off, and then the Penguins press. Goalie pull happens with 1.5 minutes left, and Toronto hits the empty net. It's Nylander again, and Domi with the assist again at 19:36. Toronto wins 4-2. So they go to 2-1 on the season. Pittsburgh 1-2 to start the year. Shots on net favor Toronto the whole way. 10-6 in the first, 13-10 in the second, 10-7 in the third. Final shots 33-23 for Toronto. Power plays 1-for-4 for Pittsburgh, 0-for-3 for Toronto. Hits 17-13 for the Leafs. Blomqvist 29 saves on 32 shots. Stolarz saved 21 out of 23. So Stolarz has another strong game. But again, Blomqvist, I think, has been the best goaltender of Pittsburgh in this very, very small sample size of a season that we've had so far. But I've been kind of impressed. So we'll see if that continues. All right, next up, Ottawa and Montreal. So when they were previewing these games on Sportsnet tonight, and of course they show the betting because it's all about betting and odds and everything now, and it's just stupid. But they said before the game, they said Ottawa's favored on the road tonight in Montreal, and I said out loud, why? Ottawa, over the last, what are we on now, 6 years, they've managed to live down to lower expectations, and tonight's another example of this. So it's Ullmark versus Montembeault, and of course Ottawa's coming off that big win over Florida, but this is that perfect moment where, things even up. Sens had the early jump. Things are pushy on a hold by Montembeault. These teams don't like each other. Gallagher has a shot that's held. There's some pushing again because it's Brendan Gallagher, so he tends to draw a crowd at the net. We get a power play for Ottawa. That's killed off. And then the Habs draw a power play, and they score on theirs. It's Heineman getting his first NHL goal. Dvorak with the assist at 10:38. The Habs go back to the power play. That one's killed off, but they would get another goal before the period's out. It's Caulfield from Matheson and Slavkovsky at 15:03. He buries that one from the left circle. It's 2-0 for Montreal. The Habs then press for another. We get a power play for Ottawa. That's killed off. It's 2-0 Montreal after one. Second period. Senators press at 1.5 minutes. Dvorak couldn't bury one in close. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Sens press at 4.5 minutes. The shots are 5-2 for Ottawa. 7 minutes in. We get a power play for Ottawa. That's killed off. Things are pushy on a hold by Ullmark. Gregor has a rush chance that's saved. The Senators press. They're kept to the outside. It stays 2-0 after 2. And remember, Montembeault had a shutout in his first game, so he's trying to get back-to-back shutouts. Third period, Doc's denied early. There's a power play for the Habs. That's killed off, but they press again after. And then Newhook. He scores to make it 3-0 from Hudson and Gooley at 3 minutes and 50 seconds. It was a tic-tac-toe play, and he roofs it. Hamonic then breaks up a 3-on-2 for the Habs. And then Stützle scores to get a goal on the board and to break the shutout streak for Montembeault at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Kachuk and Jensen with the assists on that one. And that was on a rush, too, for Stützle. But Montreal gets that 3-goal lead back. It's Caulfield scoring from Suzuki and Slavkovsky at 7:43. So that makes it 4-1. We get a power play then for the Habs. That's killed off. With 6.5 minutes left, the Sens go to the power play. The goalie pull happens with 3 minutes left. It does not accomplish what Ottawa wants it to. Montreal wins this one 4-1. They go to 2-1 on the season. Ottawa drops to 1-1. Shots on net, 7-4 Montreal in the first, 12-4 Ottawa in the second, 15-9 Montreal in the third. Final shots, 26-25 for the Habs. Power plays, Ottawa 0-4, Montreal 1-4. The hits, 17 apiece. Ullmark saves 22 out of 26, and Montembeault 24 saves on 25 shots. So Montreal gets the win. Ottawa's got to regroup, get ready for their next meeting. And so, yeah, entertaining game again. I did get to watch some of every game tonight. I've got a system, I've got a setup now that seems to work really well for me to follow as many games as possible. And I didn't find myself getting overly stressed out, although this is the first really, really busy day. So we'll see how I'm feeling in November. All right, next up, Nashville and Detroit. Nashville, is it too early to panic? Yes. Is it too early to be concerned? I don't think so. So it's Saros versus Talbot in this one. Forsberg's denied and close. The Preds draw a power play. That was killed off. The Preds with some pressure after that. It was the Cam Talbot show tonight. Larkin gets shaken up. The fans get upset on that play, but Larkin would stay in the game. Shots are 6-2 for Nashville at 5.5 minutes. Larkin to Kane. There's a near miss there. We get a power play for Detroit, and Saros killed that off. Yossi's denied as the Predators get some pressure. Mott has a rush chance. There's a toe save there by Saros. It is 0-0 after the first. It does not stay scoreless for long into the second period. Confer scores during early press. Sherratt and Sider with the assists at 1:02. Sherratt didn't have a fantastic game the last time out, so he made up for it tonight. He had a better night. Shots are 1 apiece at 3 minutes. Though Nashville had pressure in Detroit's zone, they weren't hitting the net that much at that stage. Both teams I thought were defending pretty well. We get a power play for Detroit. That's killed off. Nashville gets some pressure with 6.5 minutes left. Nashville goes to the power play. That's killed off. Veleno's denied on a rush chance. Stamkos is denied in close. He does not have a point yet as a member of Nashville. 58 seconds left. Nashville goes to the power play. So down 1-0 after 2. Nashville looking for a goal to start the third, while the Wings finish the kill. Then there's a press by Detroit. They're kept to the outside. Nashville gets some pressure 3 minutes into the period. Shots are 3-0 for Nashville, 6 minutes in, but Detroit scores. At 6 minutes and 35 seconds, puck kind of pinballs in. Kopp gets the goal from Raymond and Edvinsson. So it's 2-0 for Detroit at this point. Shots are 5-2 for Nashville with 5.5 minutes left. Again, I was watching every game. I was watching this. There wasn't that much happening. That third period, I thought Detroit did a really good job of just blanketing the game and not giving Nashville much of anything to shoot at. Larkin to Kane gets picked off. The goalie pull happens with 3 minutes left. And eventually, after some big saves by Talbot, Larkin hits the empty net at 19:40 to take any tension out of the game. Detroit wins 3-0 to even the record at 1-1. Nashville drops to 0-2 to start the season. Shots on net favored Nashville the whole way. 16-8 in the first, 12-10 in the second, 14-4 in the third. Final shots 42-22 Nashville. Power plays Nashville 0 for 3, Detroit 0 for 2. The hits 22-19 for Detroit. Saros saves 19 out of 21. Talbot saves all 42. So the Tony the Tiger magnet's at the top of the board because he's great. And that's the first of 3 great magnets you're going to see tonight. So, yeah, Detroit, nice bounce back after a rough game against Pittsburgh. It really is kind of all over the place. So I'm doing the power rankings, and I was looking at the power rankings and messing with them tonight, and it'll get done. It'll get done tonight. It will. All right, last game on this board is Utah and the New York Rangers, and I'm fully on the bandwagon. I don't know how far Utah can take this, but this is fun to watch. Unless you're a fan of the Rangers tonight. So, Ingram versus Shesterkin. This game may not get Shesterkin as $12 million a year. Early press by Utah. There's some big hits by Rempe that's drawing cheers, but Utah scores first. It's Hayden roofing one in close. Keller and Schmaltz with the assist at 3:43. A lot of goals just under the bar tonight. Rangers look to respond. Shots are 3 apiece at 6 minutes. Utah presses 7 minutes in, but the Rangers would tie it. It's Panarin from Lafreniere at 8:38. Utah gets some pressure with 9 minutes left in the period. Things are pushy on a hold by Ingram. Rangers get some more pressure with 3.5 minutes left, but coming out of the first period, the score's tied at 1 apiece. Early second period, Utah gets one. At 1:48, it's McBain from Kolyachonok as well as Cooley, so it's 2-1 Utah there. We then get a power play for the Rangers, and they score on it. Panarin scores from Fox and Trocheck at 3:51. The Rangers then score again, but that one's ruled to be goalie interference. The Rangers challenged that. Didn't feel like it was goalie interference. That challenge fails, so it's a power play for Utah. That power play doesn't last. It becomes a 4-on-4. However, during the 4-on-4, Utah gets a goal. It's Keller from Kerfoot at 6:02. So everything gets killed off there. And then Stenlund scores from Michelli at 8:38. So suddenly it's a 2-goal lead for Utah, but the Rangers don't let it get any further than that. Miller scores from Fox at 9:18. So 40 seconds after it's a 2-goal lead, Rangers get it back. Then we had a fight between McBain and Edstrom, so that was entertaining. And this is the thing, I saw people reacting to the fact that I say when a fight breaks out that I change the channel. This is why. There's so many games going on. Why would I stick around and watch a fight when there's a bunch of games going on? I might miss a goal. I don't want to miss a goal because I'm watching a guy get punched in the face. That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, we get a power play for Utah, and then it becomes 51 seconds of 5-on-3. They don't score during the 5-on-3, but then it becomes 5-on-4 and they score there. It's Dylan Guenther. Buries one from the left circle. Schmaltz and Hayden with the assist at 13:59. So it's a 2-goal lead again for Utah. The Rangers press with 4 minutes left, and eventually they get it within a goal again. It's Schneider from Trouba and Cooley at 17:59. So this game's close. It's 5-4, and we're going to the third. Krause with a near miss. The Rangers rush. We get a power play for the Rangers. That's killed off. Shots are 4-3 for the Rangers at 5.5 minutes left, or at 5.5 minutes. Not left, just 5.5 minutes. The Rangers press at 8 minutes. Eventually, they tie it. It's Will Cooley. He scores from Fox and Kakko at 12:56. Utah then draws a power play, which the fans didn't like, but it's okay. They don't score, and so we're going to overtime. In the overtime, Rangers control early. Utah steals. There's a near miss there. Trocheck has a shot that's held. Michelli gets robbed on a 2-on-1, and then Keller. It's in and out of the net so fast that not everybody on the ice realized it was a goal. Schmaltz with the assist at 4:05, and Utah wins this. It was a backhanding close. Utah goes to 3-0 to start the season. The Rangers 1-0-1 with the overtime loss. Shots on net, 8-6 Rangers in the first, 11-10 Rangers in the second, 14-8 Rangers in the third, 2-1 Utah in the overtime. Final shots, 34-26 Rangers. Power plays, 1-4 for Utah, 1-3 for the Rangers. The hits, 17-11 for the Rangers. Ingram, 29 saves on 34 shots. Igor did not have a fantastic night statistically, 20 saves on 26 shots, but he'll probably end up with a shutout in the next game. That seems to be the kind of pattern you can expect from a goalie of his stature. That being said, I now need to change boards. So in following all the games tonight, I did miss a goal here because it was the same scoring play that I had seen on a different goal, so I didn't think anything of it. And I didn't put the secondary assist on the Cotter goal, so it's fine. It's fine. I will mention that when we get to that goal. So it's Markstrom versus Lindgren as New Jersey's playing Washington. Washington's home opener and their first game of the season. They had a nice 50th anniversary ceremony. It took a while. The only regret that I have from having watched it is that they didn't find a way to get like all of the alumni. Like I'm talking like hundreds of players. I thought they once that third group came out, I'm like, I hope there's more groups. Then they just run out of room on the carpet, and then they're all just kind of standing on the ice. Anyways, the Devils draw a power play early in the game. That's killed off. The shots are 3 apiece at 4 minutes. New Jersey would then go back to the power play. There's a shorthanded rush by Lapierre that's saved. They end up killing off that power play, and then the Caps get a power play of their own, and they score on theirs. John Carlson with a point shot that goes past a screen. Dubois and Strome with the assists at 10:48. It's 1-0 for the Caps. Shots are 9-6 for Washington with 7 minutes left, but at 13:42, I should say. Seamus Casey with a nice one. Roofed that one from the left circle. Bratt and Meyer with the assists, and then at 16:24, Paul Cotter scores from Nason and Howla. So it's tic-tac-toe on a rush, and Paul Cotter, he's fitting in pretty well in New Jersey. I think they like him. Devils nearly add another. The Caps press with a minute and a half left, but it's 2-1 for New Jersey after one. Second period. 32 seconds in, Washington ties it. It's Dylan Strome from Carlson and Ovechkin. So Ovechkin gets a point, but it's not a goal. Devils press at 3 minutes, and eventually they score. At 3:56, it's Tatar from Nason and Howla. Caps press at 5 minutes. Things get punchy at the half. We get 4-on-4. The Capitals press during the 4-on-4, and then Cotter at 13:38 scores from Nason and Howla. So all of a sudden, New Jersey has a 2-goal lead. Shots are 12-9 for the Devils with 5 minutes left. With 3:18 left, the Caps go back to the power play. They need a goal, but back-to-back clears by New Jersey. Good kill, and they do kill that off. So we go to the third period with New Jersey up 4-2. And Wilson would score from McMichael at 1:35. It was nice, just under the bar. And so that gets Washington within a goal. We get a power play for the Devils. Then we get 19 seconds of 4-on-4 before the Caps go to the power play. Everything's killed off there. No damage done. Faravari has a rush chance that's held. The emotions and the dislike between these teams are rising. The Devils go to the power play out of that, and that power play's killed off. The forechecking from the Devils is impressive in the closing minutes. Then the goalie pull happens with 1:23 left, and New Jersey hits the empty net. It's Mercer from Tatar and Hischier at 19:52. Makes your final score 5-3. New Jersey's 3-1 in this early season moment, and the Capitals 0-1 with the loss. Shots on net, 12 apiece in the first, 13-9 New Jersey in the second, 11-8 Washington in the third. Final shots, 33-32 for the Devils. Power plays, New Jersey 0 for 4, Washington 1 for 3. The hits 20 to 18 for Washington. Markstrom saves 29 out of 32. Lindgren saved 28 out of 32. So New Jersey, yep, they're playing pretty well. All right, next up. The Islanders and Dallas. So the Islanders, a little bit of a scoring issue here, or Ottinger steals one. Probably a little bit of both columns, true, to be honest. So it's Varlamov versus Ottinger. The Stars press at 2 minutes. Dumba gets shaken up, but he's okay. At least he got to the bench okay. Power play for Dallas. There's a shorthanded rush by Pajot. That power play ends up being killed off. The shots are 2 apiece at 7 minutes. Duclair's denied on a rush, and then at 7:59, Sagan buries a net feed. Marchment and Duchesne with the assists. It's 1-0 for Dallas. The Islanders press at 8.5 minutes. Ottinger with a giveaway, but he recovers there. So some goaltenders coming out of the net and having a bit of a misadventure tonight. Early in the season, you see that. You know what? You see it midway through the season, late in the season, even in the playoffs. Shots are 6-3 for the Islanders with 8.5 minutes left. The Islanders had a really strong first period. Couldn't solve Ottinger. So it's 1-0 Dallas after the first. Second period. Palmieri has a net drive that save. The Islanders press. They're kept to the outside. Teams trade turnovers. The shots are 6-1 for Dallas at 4 minutes. Marchment couldn't bury one in close. We get a power play for the Islanders. There's a shorthanded 2-on-1 for Dallas that gets broken up. That power play is killed off. And then at 10:58, Dallas makes it 2-0. Jamie Benn scores from Wyatt Johnston. Marchment got shaken up along the boards not long after that. The Islanders press with 7.5 minutes left. We get a power play for Dallas. That's killed off. But it's 2-0 for Dallas after 2. Third period, early press by the Stars. Wallstrom's then denied on a turnover chance. In fact, the shots are 5-0 for the Islanders at 4 minutes. Ottinger's putting on a show early in this third period. Just like, I don't know, maybe Dallas was like, so Otter, we need you to just take this home. We're tired. And honestly, I'm tired right now. So the fans call one. The referee does not. Stars press at 9 minutes. Things get pushy on a hole by Varlamov. The Islanders press with 9 minutes left. There's a kick save on Horvat. Puck's cleared out. Pelech has a screenshot that's held. The goalie pull happens with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left. Eventually, Dallas hits the empty net at 18:57. Sagan with the second goal of the game. Marchment and Steele with the assists. And your final score in this one's 3-0 for Dallas. So another Tony the Tiger magnet because Otter was great. 2-0 record now for Dallas. 0-1-1 record for the New York Islanders. Shots on net, 12-6 Islanders in the first, 13-7 Dallas in the second, and then 15-8 for the Islanders in the third. Final shots, 34-27 for the Islanders. Power plays, the Islanders 0 for 1, Dallas 0 for 2. The hits, 18-17 for Dallas. Varlamov saves 24-26. Ottinger, 34 save shutout for Otter. And for the Islanders, they're going to look to bounce back in the next one. Dallas just wants to keep going on this route. All right, next up. Seattle and Minnesota. So it's Decord versus Fleury in this one. Early jump for Seattle. The Wild press at 3.5 minutes. The Kraken press back the next shift. Pretty impressive start to the game. Shots on net, though, are 4-1 for Seattle at 5 minutes. That being said, Minnesota would score first. At 9:22, Zuccarello scores from Kaprizov and Rossi. The Wild had some momentum then after that slow start, now with the 1-0 lead. Evans has a shot that's held as the Kraken gets some pressure. The Wild draw a power play. It's dangerous, but Seattle kills that off. The Kraken press with 2 minutes left. With 14 seconds left, the Wild go to the power play. So 1-0 Minnesota after the first. We're rolling into the second period, and Minnesota would score on that power play. Boldy buries one on a net drive. Kaprizov and Zuccarello with the assists at 1:03. And it looks like, this game's pretty much in hand for Minnesota. They can keep playing this way, but Seattle would answer. At 1:46, Eberle scores from McCann and Montour, so suddenly Seattle's on the board. Larson's then denied on a fast break. Tanev takes a skate to the chin. The Kraken end up going to the power play on the play, which, if you watch the replay on that, questionable. But Seattle scores. Eberle scores the second of the period. Burakovsky and Dunn with the assists at 8:15. It's suddenly a 2-2 tie, and Minnesota fans aren't happy. The shots are 9-4 for Seattle with 9 minutes left. Pretty strong forechecking by Seattle as well. 2:10 left. The Kraken get a power play. Initially, it looked like it was going to be a Wild power play, but no, it's Kraken. Beniers is denied. Fleury holds. There's a shorthanded rush by Freddie Gaudreau, and that power play is killed off. But it's 2-2 after 2 periods of play. Third period, 1:39 in. Kirill Kaprizov scores from Rossi and Faber. So that puts the Wild ahead. But Cartier answers at 2:46 from Tanev and Gord. That's top corner from the slot. The Wild look to respond. The shots are 5-4 for Seattle at 5.5 minutes. Kaprizov is denied on a rush. Hartman is not. He scores from Boldy and Spurgeon at 12:33, but Minnesota couldn't hold the lead tonight. McCann scores from Evans at 16:34. That's wired during a delayed penalty, so we end up going to overtime. In the overtime, the Wild control early. Montour has a rush chance that's broken up. Boldy very nearly ends it. No idea how that didn't go in. Larson fires one high on a 2-on-1 rush, and then Rossi couldn't bury one on a net drive. We're going to the shootout. In the shootout, Eberle gets the winner, so he had 2 goals during the game and the shootout winner. Seattle wins 5-4 in that shootout. They go to 1-1 in the season. Minnesota 1-0-1 with the loss. Shots on net, 14-10 Minnesota in the first, 12-9 Seattle in the second, 13-10 Minnesota in the third. Both teams had 2 shots in the overtime. Final shots 38-34 from Minnesota. Both teams go 1 for 2 on the power play. Decord saves 34 out of 38, and Fleury saves 30 out of 34 at the other end. So, entertaining game. Fleury, you're always hoping he gets a win. At least most people I would think are, although Seattle fans probably not so much. But nice to see some Fleury get some more wins this season and maybe a shutout or 2 as well, knowing that this is very likely his last season. I know he said it is, but you just never know until they actually retire. Sometimes they talk about it and they're like, I've still got more left. All right, next up. Colorado at home against Columbus. This is a shocker, but it's not the shocker of the night. And of course, you got another 80s magnet here because a lot of goals, like the 80s magnet that was at the bottom of the board for Utah and the Rangers. Tarasov versus Georgiev in this one. Colorado's got a goaltending problem. I'm just saying it right now. I know it's very early. You gotta have goaltending in this league. That's been a debate that we've had for a while. This is what happens. So, Taves has a rush chance that's held. The shots are 2-0 Avs at 2.5 minutes. We get a power play for Columbus. That's killed off. Columbus presses after it ends. Eventually, they score first. At 6:38, it's Werenski from Chinikov and Monahan. And then at 7:45, Kent Johnson scores from Christensen. Those are goals on back-to-back shots. 2 goals on 3 shots at that point. And this is another case of a player roofing the puck too. Kent Johnson doing it there. The Avs press with 9.5 minutes left. The shots are 7-4 Columbus with 5.5 minutes remaining. With 1:24 left, the Avs get a power play. Bad idea to take a penalty against the Avs. It's unfair. McKinnon scores on the power play from Yvonne and Rantanen at 19:52. So Yvonne has been his name the whole time he's been playing hockey. Now that he's in the NHL, all of the announcers are calling him Ivan. I don't know. So I'm still going to say Yvonne, but all the announcers I'm watching are calling him Ivan. It's just weird. Anyways, it's 2-1 for Columbus after the first. Second period early press by the Avs, but Columbus scores. At 1:56 from a sharp angle, and it's 5-hole. It's not a great one. Fantilli scores from LeBanc and Tarasov, so I believe that's LeBanc's first point as a member of Columbus, and that ends the night for Georgiev. Annunen is in. Wood would answer at 2 minutes and 11 seconds, so immediately after they put Annunen in the net, their fortunes change. Kelly and DeHaan with the assists. We then get a power play for Colorado, and they score on it at 3:42. It's Mittelstadt tipping one in from beside the net. Colton and Makar with the assists. So that ties the game at 3. Crisis averted. Colorado will survive this. Whoops. At 4:33, so less than a minute later, Marchenko scores from Severson, and all I wrote underneath this is, last shot wins. It's one of those games. And then Chinikov at 9:49 scores from Monahan and Marchenko. Chinikov buries a rebound there, and we're up to a 5-3 score in favor of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Power play for the Avs, that's killed off, and then it becomes a question of whether or not Kovalenko got a goal. Puck's underneath the goaltender. There wasn't a definitive angle that I saw, and so they say no after a review. Columbus presses in the final minute, but yeah, Columbus with a 2-goal lead in Denver after 2 periods. Third period, the Avs press at 2 minutes. Columbus is blocking the path to the net as well as they can, and honestly, they didn't allow that many shots in the third period. Normally, this is where the Avs would get like 25 shots in the third period and just leave the goaltender just a husk of a man inside the net and just pucks everywhere. Tarasov wins a race with Rantanen. That was gutsy coming out to make sure Rantanen didn't get to that puck in the zone. Columbus presses at 6 minutes. Teams trade turnovers. The shots are 4-1 for Columbus halfway through the period. The Avs draw their 4th power play. It then becomes a 4-on-4. Everything gets killed off there. The goalie pull happens with 2:45 left. With 1:54 left, the Avs call a timeout. And it works. At 18:40, Colton on a tic-tac-toe play, he puts the puck in the net. McKinnon just faked everybody out, gets it to Colton puts it in. Makar with the other assist on that. Then there was a post for Colton on the next play. So very nearly worked again. 38.6 seconds left. Middlestad ends up going to the box, which ends it. And yeah, the fans aren't happy, so they tell the ref that he is not lacking in the suck category, that he in fact sucks. And then it's an empty netter by Monahan from Marchenko and Chinikov at 19:48, so the fans can chant Boo Earns. And the final score is 6-4. So Columbus evens the record at 1-1 with the victory. Colorado drops to 0-2 with the loss. I don't have the records up there, but I know that because it's still so early in the season. Shots on net, 11-8 Colorado in the first, 13-7 Colorado in the second, 8-7 Columbus in the third. Final shots, 30-23 for Colorado. Power plays, Columbus 1 for 3, Colorado 2 for 4. The hits, 26-7 for Colorado. So Columbus was like, we really don't want to hit. Tarasov saves 26 out of 30. Georgiev saves 6 out of 9. And Annunen saves 11 out of 13. So it's not a goalie crisis yet in Colorado, but it's something worthy of keeping an eye on. That being said, I need to change boards. All right, we'll get to this in a moment, but first we have to talk about Philadelphia and Calgary. So it's Fedotov versus Wolf, and they had a really nice tribute to Johnny Gaudreau before the game. I thought that was great. Did it delay the start time? Yes. I don't care. It was very, very good. Early jump for the Flyers. The Flames press at a minute and a half. Kadri's denied there. Shots are 4-1 for the Flyers, though, at 3 minutes. And then the Flames open the scoring. Huberdeau, pinballs in off his shoulder. They all count. Huberdeau with the goal from Pospisil and Mantha at 5:37. It's 1-0 Calgary. We get 2 minutes of 4-on-4. That becomes a 4-on-3 power play for Calgary. They score during that. Weegar, good cycle. He wires it. It's only the third shot on net for Calgary, so 2 of them have gone in the net. Huberdeau and Kuzmenko with the assists at 7:43. Jonathan Huberdeau, maybe this is the year he finally breaks through with Calgary. He's had his struggles since coming over from Florida. We get a power play for the Flyers. That's killed off. Things are punchy on a hold by Dustin Wolf. Kadri has a net drive that's blocked. I thought Wolf was sharp. He was very busy as well, which I think helps a goaltender, to be honest. Konechny's denied on a net drive. Backlund has a screenshot. That's held. Things get punchy at the horn. It's 2-0 Calgary after the first. Second period, early power play for Philly. Drysdale has a shot that's held. Wolf, again, just excellent. We then get a power play for the Flames, but Philly scores on it. Konechny with a shorthanded goal. Lawton and Johnson with the assists at 7:05. And last year, Philly on the penalty kill was very, very good, and shorthanded goals were possible. Philly then finishes the kill. Calgary got no shots during that power play. Flames press. They can't get to the net, though. With 9 minutes left, the Flames had 1 shot on net. Lawton has a net drive. That's held. We get a power play for the Flames. That then becomes 43 seconds of 5-on-3. The Flames call a timeout before it starts. It works out pretty well. They score during the 5-on-3. Kadri with a wrister, top shelf. Kuzmenko and Huberdeau with the assists at 14:41. Flyers then kill off the 5-on-4. Klapka has a wraparound. That's held. There's some pushing. Backlund's denied on a net drive, and then at 18:11, just to keep the game close, the Flyers score. Farabee from Brink and Couturier, that makes the score 3-2 for Calgary after 2 periods of play. Third period, Farabee has a rush chance that's gloved down. Coleman fires one wide as the Flames press. The Flames draw a power play. Zeri has a net feed that gets picked off. That power play's killed off. There's a press by the Flames after it's over. The Flyers press. That draws them a power play. Michkov very nearly gets one. That power play's killed off as well. The Flyers press with 5.5 minutes left, but on a 2-on-1 rush, the Flames score again. Backlund from Coleman and Zeri. And then at 15:34, so less than a minute later, Huberdeau gets his second goal of the game. Pospisil and Bean with the assists. The Flyers get a power play with 3:11 left, so Tortorella figures, why not? He pulls the goalie to go 6-on-4, and it works. Konechny scores from Michkov and Frost at 17:11. So Matvei Michkov with his first NHL point, and it gets the Flyers within 2 goals. They pull the goalie again. This time Kadri hits the empty net. Kuzmenko and Weegar with the assists at 18:16. The Flames win 6-3. They go to 2-0 on the season. The Flyers drop to 1-1 with the loss. Shots on net, 19-9 Philadelphia in the first, 12-7 Philly in the second, and then 17-9 Calgary in the third. Final shots, 40-33 for Philly. Power plays, the Flyers 1 for 4, Calgary 2 for 5. The hits, 27-26 Philly. Fedotov saves 27 out of 32, and Wolf saves 37 out of 40. So, yeah, entertaining game. All right, let's get over to the Shock Llama. So this year, on results that are really and truly something that most people wouldn't have seen coming, there's always going to be those guys going, I saw it coming. All right, you did. Good for you. But yeah, the Shock Llama's right here, and he looks like he's seen some things. So it's Mrazek versus Pickard. The Oilers press at 2.5 minutes. The shots are even at 2 apiece, 5 minutes into this. The Hawks press at 7.5 minutes. Arvidsson fires one wide from the slot. The Oilers press with 8 minutes left. Dermott has a shot that's held. Mrazek pretty sharp, and then Kurashev. He scores. It's a bouncer he tips in. Hall and Kaiser with the assists at 15:50. And then there's a near miss for McDavid on a rush. So somehow it's 1-0 Chicago after the first period. Second period, early press by Edmonton. The Blackhawks press at 2.5 minutes. We get a power play for the Oilers. During that, the fans try to call one to get the 5-on-3. The ref does not bite on that one. That was killed off, but shortly after that power play ends, like right after it ends, Corey Perry buries one. Skinner and Ekholm with the assists at 4:55. So that's Jeff Skinner's first point as an Oiler. The Hawks press to respond. The shots are 6-2 for the Oilers at 7 minutes. We then get a power play for Chicago, and they score on it. This was a major problem for Chicago last year. If this power play is going to be good this year, that can change the whole game. Jones scores from Bedard and Teravainen at 10:17. He goes 5-hole pass to screen. And then Bedard. I mean, it's from a distance, so you could try to make the argument that maybe Pickard should have had it. And I felt like that initially, but then watching the replay, I'm like, you know what? That release of Bedard's is absolutely ridiculous. Teravainen with the assist at 13:57, and that shockingly makes it 3-1, thus the Shock Llama. Bedard nearly adds another the next shift, too. The Oilers press with 2 minutes left, but it's 3-1 Chicago after 2 periods of play. Third period, the Oilers press at 2 minutes. The Oilers end up getting a power play. Bouchard has a shot that's blocked as it ends, and then Connor McDavid goes to the box. That puts the Hawks on the power play, and they score on it again. It is Teravainen this time from Bedard and Jones at 5:33. The shots are 5-2 for the Oilers at 8 minutes. The Oilers score, but there's goalie interference. I'm watching it live. I was like, that's goalie interference. I didn't even put the magnet on the board. And they're like, oh, that's a great goal. And I'm like, it's coming back. So they challenged it. It came back. You can't push the guy into his own goalie. You can't go in the crease before the puck's there. It's a classic goalie interference. The Oilers, though, they do draw a power play, and they score here. Draisaitl on a tic-tac-toe play from McDavid and Nugent-Hopkins at 10:01. The Oilers then press for another. The Hawks are doing their best to hold on late, and this got pretty hairy there. 3:33 left, they pull the goaltender. With 1:05 left, though, Draisaitl takes a penalty. So much like the Colorado game, that was a shocker, this one, there's a penalty late in the game that just takes the wind out of the sails of the home team. And during that power play, I got to say, it was a good cycle, and Teravainen wires it. Vlasic and Jones with the assist at 19:14. I think Tavo's really added something to that Chicago attack. Chicago wins this one 5-2. Yep. They go to 1-1-1 on the season. The Oilers 0-2. Tough start. Not panic material yet, obviously. It's just 2 games, but we'll see how it goes. And again, Edmonton started out slow last year. Maybe that's just what they do now. Shots on net, 10 apiece in the first, 14-7 Edmonton in the second, 13-3 Edmonton in the third. Final shots, 37-20 for Edmonton. Power plays, Chicago 3 for 3. I don't think I saw that at all last season. Edmonton 1 for 3. The hits 15-9 for Chicago. So both teams kind of went, we don't really want to hit. Mrazek 35 saves on 37 shots. He's a very good goaltender who has been playing on a very bad team. If this team's going to be good, Mrazek's going to get more attention. Pickard 15 saves on 20 shots. Not a fantastic night for Pickard. And so the Oilers and the Avs I see as being in a similar position. Very good explosive teams that just aren't quite getting the saves they need. The difference being Colorado's getting goals. They've got 8 goals in their 2 games. The Oilers have 2 goals in their 2 games, so it's a little bit more perilous with Edmonton, but still obviously very early in the season. All right. And last game of the night, Anaheim and San Jose. And it's a shame Celebrini wasn't in this game. Honestly, it was a shame Celebrini wasn't in this game. I was like, oh, I'm back. Oh, it's back. It's back to San Jose games. But anyways, it's Dostal versus Vanacek. The camera for games in San Jose is still like from space. I don't know. I'd like to see a camera that's closer than what they have in San Jose. It's nice being able to see the entire ice surface most of the game, but still. I'm kidding, but only a little bit. So there's a power play for the Sharks. The Sharks then score, but there's an offside challenge, so no. And that's as close as they got to a goal tonight. The Ducks then finish the kill. There's a press by Anaheim at 4.5 minutes. The shots are only 3 apiece, 8 minutes into the game. We get a power play for the Ducks. That's killed off. Get used to that phrase. The Ducks go back to the power play. Pretty aggressive kill by the Sharks, so that's killed off as well. 21 seconds left. The Ducks get their third power play of the first period, so it's scoreless after one, but a lot of special teams time. And then early in the second period, that play becomes 4-on-4. Zetterlund has a turnover chance that's blocked. Everything gets killed off in that one. McGinn has a rush chance that's held. The Sharks press at 5.5 minutes. Anaheim then gets his fourth power play of the game. That was killed off as well. The Ducks press after. Things are pushy on a hold by Vanacek, who quietly had a pretty good game. Shots are 6-3 for San Jose at 9 minutes. Things are pushy and punchy as the Ducks get their fifth power play of the game, and what would be their last. Vetrano has a one-timer that saved. That's killed off as well. Toffoli can't bury one as the Sharks press. There's more punchy with the 50.3 seconds left. There's more punching with 50.3 seconds left on the clock. There you go. But everything's killed, or that was killed off as well. Sharks with that power play. Rolls over into the third period. Ducks kill it off. A lot of special teams. Not much happening on the special teams in this game. Sharks press at 1.5 to Landry has a chance that's held. The shots are 5-2 San Jose at 6 minutes. There's a near miss for Eklund as the Sharks make a push trying to get that first goal. Teams exchange turnovers. Anaheim gets a power play. Killed off. Now, the app tells me that there were 5 power plays. By my count, there was 6. The reality is it doesn't matter because nobody scored on them. It doesn't matter how many power plays, nobody scored on them. So after the power play's done, San Jose's defense takes a break and lets Isaac Lindstrom just be all by himself in front of the net. So he's like, fine. And he puts the puck in the net. McGinn and Leeson with the assists at 11 minutes. I want to say, too, the road jerseys for Anaheim, those are fire. Those are excellent. They're fantastic. I cannot wait to have one. They look absolutely gorgeous. There's a power play for the Sharks, but, yep, killed off. Goalie pull happens with 2 minutes left, and Anaheim would find the empty net. It's Zegras burying the empty netter from his own end of the ice. Fowler and McTavish with the assists at 18:25. With 1:20 left, the Sharks call a timeout. Not sure what they discussed. It doesn't matter. They don't break the goose egg. It is a 2-0 shutout victory for Anaheim. They go to 1-0 on the season. San Jose drops to 0-1-1. Without Celebrini, it's a totally different experience of watching their games. It feels like last year. Anaheim outshoots San Jose 10-8 in the first. San Jose outshoots Anaheim 12-10 in the second. Both teams had 10 shots in the third. Final shots, both teams had 30. Power plays, Anaheim 0 for 5, San Jose 0 for 3. The hits 13-11 for San Jose. Dostal 30 shots, 30 saves, and Vanacek saved 28 out of 29. So it's not like Vanacek played poorly, just didn't get in goal support. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you've not done so already. I survived my first busy Saturday. And yeah, it was fun. I didn't get overwhelmed tonight. Like, I didn't feel like I wasn't keeping up. I wasn't freaking out over any of that like I do at times. But it is just the first day. We'll see when I get into November how I feel about it. But feeling pretty good tonight. Now I got to do the power rankings. So I got to make the internet angry now before I go to bed. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I will talk to you again soon.